question number one, what's your process and how were you able to acquire 100 leads for Miller Storm in the last 30 days?
Yeah, good question. So it took a minute because I had to learn a couple of your softwares, like Helltrace, because I don't come from roofing. So
shout out to Helltrace.
Shout out Helltrace, Oklahoma company. We love y'all. Baker Mayfield, Shake and Bake.
Hey.
So I had to learn Helltrace, and then I had to learn I'm still learning AccuLinks. That is a motherfucker.
It's the Matrix.
Yeah, that shit is the Matrix, 100%. So we had to learn a couple softwares, and then even after we learned that they provided some of the phone numbers, we had to skip trace some of it. The data aggregation, this is where really Jesus plays a big role in the data management. It's like getting rid of the duplicates. You don't like doing trailers and cheap ass houses, so like putting the limits on how much the houses are worth, scrubbing that data, and then once we get that pure, what Jesus calls the pure data, all right, once we get the pure data, that goes into a dialer. And then we've trained now 3 telemarketers on the same 10 objections that they're going to get over the phone and how to move the sale forward. We probably make about $3,000 a day at this point through a dialer. And depending on when the last storm hit is really dependent on how many leads we can set per. Because like if it's fresh, we can set 30.
Yeah.
If it's a week old, we can set 25. 2 weeks old. It goes down and down and down as the older the storm gets. So just having this new storm that just hit in, like north side of Fort Worth.
Yeah, HEB.
Right? Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. I thought you were saying buy HEB. But once we learned those softwares and those systems, we found the right location for the sales reps, and then we get a good storm. Like, it's really just overcoming objections and moving the sale forward and placing a good timeline for a rep to get out there.
I think this is a great interjection for my next question. How did you become a beast at phone sales? I watch you on the phone, and you're so calm, collected, and you just keep moving it forward. It's really kind of cool to watch. Are you just a natural, or would you? When did you pick up a phone and sell somebody over the phone? Like, what made that happen?
So it really first started when I didn't know I was starting, is when I was living in Germany, and I was buying houses in DFW, and I was negotiating a little bit, and like I was actually really just getting closed and like learning hard lessons over the phone, like trying to buy houses in DFW.
Taking shots.
Bro, I was literally talking to wholesalers. I didn't even know what wholesaling was because I started out buying and fixing and holding houses. And so I was talking to these wholesalers from a company called New Western, and I'm like, they're like closing me hardcore. I'm like, I look back and I'm like, I thought I did a good job. I did not. These motherfuckers were getting the most bread out of me.
I brought a few from New Western. Yeah, I bought some from there.
And so I look back, like this was like 4 years ago, and I'm like, okay, I thought I was hot. I thought I might have been doing something. I wasn't doing shit. But that's where it started because it was forced on me because I was living in another country. So I had to do everything over the phone. Then I moved here. Back to the States, I came back from Germany, PCS, to Oklahoma, and I lived in Lawton, Oklahoma. Like, there wasn't no way I was doing deals there, man. Ain't nobody doing no deals in Lawton, Oklahoma. So I had to like call over the phone to other places. I took a bunch of classes, courses. What first got me good was a competition called Closers Olympics. One of my friends was like, hey, are you going to watch it this year? I'm like, I don't know what that is. He introduced me to it, and they were having tryouts. And so I like hopped in, tried out, got lucky. Like I role play with somebody. I did well, I guess. And so they were like, hey, you can do the open run for Closers Olympics, which was like another tryout.
Yeah.
And so I had about 3 months until that competition. The Closers Olympics is a cold calling competition for like leads for houses that you go on a contract.
I saw one of them.
Because I did it again. Then, like 2 years later, I did it again. But in 2021 was when they were doing this one. Second year they did it. And so for 3 months, I went live on Instagram and just called homeowners, got my teeth kicked.
Yeah.
And just like got decent.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't any good. I thought I was good because what I quickly realized is like almost nobody's good at this shit.
Right.
Like, I thought the guys that were good at it were, like, they're not any good. I would smoke them today. Like, I thought these were, the guys I was learning from, I thought they were really good. I'm like, wow, these guys are great. I was like kind of mimicking them and picking up a few things.
Yeah.
What we call closer's gumbo. I was like grabbing lines from different people and like, adding it to my repertoire.
Yeah.
And started there. Did the competition, did terrible. I still got in there though. I was like, hey, look, some of y'all bitches didn't even make it.
Right. Some of y'all didn't even compete.
You didn't even have the nuts to get in there. Right? The man in the arena. I'm like, I signed up, I competed, I did awful, but I tried.
Right.
I did awful by my standards. Some people still were like, oh, you did good. I'm like, no.
You acted.
Yeah, I acted like I knew what I was doing. And then so from there, I was like, okay, that's never going to happen to me again. And so I went crazy on the phone for a year straight. I just like went live, called homeowners, closed deals, got good.
Right.
Took a bunch of trainings. I did everybody's training. Like, I was like, I'm going to learn something from everybody.
Because getting your teeth kicked in isn't a great feeling.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm just getting hung up on all the time. Like, I'm like, damn. And meanwhile, I'm in the Army, like, while I'm doing this still. So I only got so much time a day to put into this.
Did you see somebody else in wholesaling being successful? Is that what like made you believe that it was possible? Like,
yeah, I flew to Jacksonville, Florida. I was in a mastermind. The guy who ran the mastermind, his brother was a wholesaler. They had done $6 million in wholesaling, selling to hedge funds. I flew there and went to go learn the game. And they were doing it all over the phone too.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I took their scripts. That's whose script I was running, so I took their scripts and stuff. I'm like, all right, like, I'm trying to wholesale. I kind of understand it. Like, I'm doing some deals, but nothing at scale. Went there, learned the game, did like 10 deals with them, made like 80 grand, and I was like, I don't need to be in the Army no more. Like, this shit. I just made 80 grand in like 4 months.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't never even seen this kind of money. I was like, and it was all profit, because I wasn't running a business. I was just locking up deals and sending it to that company. So I was just getting my half.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Had you done the whole thing, right?
Right, I'm like, I didn't realize, I didn't even know what like net profit was. I didn't know none of this shit. I'm just like, hey, if I close a deal, they're gonna give me 10 grand.
Yeah.
So I closed like 8, I don't know, it was like 8 to 10 deals with them, made fucking a bunch of money, and I was like, I should just do this. Like, what's the alternative? I just keep working in the Army for 50 grand. I'm like, nah. I had already done 13 years. Or at that point, I had done 10 years. I'm like, there's no way I should keep doing this. And then I saw these guys, like, this guy made $6 million. I thought he made $6 million, right? I didn't realize he'd operated at 20% and made $600K.
Revenue is vanity.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but I was like, still, he made 600 grand. I'm like, it would take me 12 years. I mean, I just worked for 10 years and I didn't make that much money. The fuck, I'm with y'all.
Yeah.
It's like the Wolf of Wall Street. Show me $70,000. I quit my job and work for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, they made all this money wholesaling. Like, I should just try that. And so that's what I did.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm out of the Army. I'm gonna wholesale.
When did you? Because you're part of Can't Clothe the Heirs camp, right?
Yep.
Like,
yeah, I've been in boardroom for 3 years.
Okay. What made you go, hey, like, I should join a mastermind?
Yeah, I saw Kent speaking on, his name is Gonzalo, is the guy who I originally learned like the business model from. He spoke on like a call that he did. And so I saw Kent on that call. And Kent reminded me of like a, like a sergeant major. Right, because I was still in the Army. So I'm like, he just reminded me of like a in charge non-commissioned officer, and like someone that was also in the Army, because he was very like militant and serious and like that. I'm like, I could rock with this dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it. Like I respond to strong leadership too.
Yeah.
Like, it's my style and I respond to it. So I'm like, bet. I called him, or I inboxed him on Instagram, and we got on a phone call. Ken just like was like, hey, text me, boom, text him, called me. We spoke for an hour in my driveway in Lawton, Oklahoma, on the phone for like an hour.
Damn.
I didn't know he's closing me on like coaching and shit, but I'm like, what do I know? I'm still trying to figure this out. I would have gave myself an hour of my time too.
Right.
Like, hey, what's up, bro? What you trying to do? I can show you what to do. It just costs 30 grand. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So I signed up for CEO coaching, right? Because I don't know what to do. I just know like I need to learn. And I didn't know any of this was going on, bro. I was like in the Army full time, grind mode, growing, leading soldiers. Like, I was in leadership. And I was good at being in the Army. I was very good at being in the Army, so I didn't need to do nothing else. Like,
Yeah.
I was like a golden soldier. Everyone was like, oh, that fucking guy runs fast, fucking good shape, looks great, fucking leads people. Like, that was who and then that's not how I ended my career, but
Right.
that was like me during it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't need to do anything else. I was happily married, like, you know, same wife, everything was good.
Yeah.
Got with Ken, I'm like, there's like a lot more going on in this world than this shit.
Yeah.
I just got back from my second deployment in Iraq, and I'm like, I think I made like 70 grand, and I'm like, whew, it was tough, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I started seeing these numbers getting around higher level people, and I'm like, these guys are making millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what it costs, I'm in.
Right.
And so I paid for CEO coaching, and then I didn't look back from there. Like, at that point, I started getting information, and once I got some information, it's over with for everybody.
Right, yeah.
I tell him that all the time, because he went to business school, and so like he drops game all day, he don't know it, and I'm like, say that again. And I'm like, these guys are so fucked because I'm getting a business education from you all day.
Yeah.
Everyone else is
Education
so fucked
comes in all forms, right? Yeah.
because I know what to do with this information.
Yep.
I understand sales and marketing
the
and leadership.
application of knowledge that's power.
Yep. I'm like, I understand sales, marketing, and leadership and management, and as soon as you teach me this business shit, it's over with for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's nothing no one can tell me at this point. I'm like, and if I keep hiring great mentors, right, and that keep moving me forward, it's inevitable. It's just a matter of time before we have $100 million roofing company.
Right. Facts.
He knows roofing. He knows business.
Yep.
I know how to put all that shit together and fucking make a bunch of dough. Okay, let's roll.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
So,
it takes a team, man.
Yeah.
It takes a team.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Finding those A players is key.
Well, so once I learned a bunch of business from Kent, I just kept doing my phone sales thing. He was coaching me on wholesaling. He was teaching me the business of wholesaling. And I just kept the mindset of I'm going to keep doing it on the phone because I was living in Lawton. So I didn't live in DFW, Houston. Like everyone was telling me, oh, you got to live in these places. I'm like, no, you don't. I was cold calling the whole United States from REI call center. I had about 10 cold callers with them, and I was just calling. If you had 100,000 plus population in the United States, I called your city in 2022.
Yeah.
Like, I called it.
Yeah.
100%. I pulled all the data from all the cities and cold called all of it. And so, like, it was just all over the phone. I was living I bought a 3-unit building in Lawton, and I was just running my business out of there. And so we were just banging phones, closing people over the phone in a little town in Oklahoma.
Yep.
Until I got out. That's how I got good at phone sales.
It's crazy. Anytime I hear how somebody got good at something, they just said they did it a lot. Like, you know, people are like, man, were you just a natural at door knocking? I'm like, no. Like the second door I knocked, I ran away. Mid-pitch. I stumbled and stuttered so much that I just said sorry and ran down the driveway. I hopped in my supervisor's car. He was like, how'd it go? I was like, he's just not interested. I was like, next door.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it's like, I tell guys all the time, like, where they're like, well, I want to be like you. And I'm like, well, you just got to shoot a lot of shots. Mm-hmm. You want to get good at three-pointers? Shoot a lot of three-pointers.
What you got to do is you got to ask people, okay, how many doors did you knock today? Like, tell me like a shitty answer.
20.
20 doors.
20 doors.
When I was in your position, I was knocking about 150 doors a day.
Yeah.
Right? And so that just raises the bar for people, for them to understand what it takes to be like me. Right?
I don't even know how many doors I knocked. Like, I just knew, like, I was like,
do it.
I was just like homeless. Yeah, I was homeless. I had I had nothing better to do with my time other than knock doors from the absolute beginning of the day to the end of the day. I was like Forrest Gump. I was just running. Like, I'm just like, and then like one day I was just like, okay, like, I have some money. I'm going to go like get an apartment and a car, like, and I'm actually going to build my life, you know?
Yeah. But you can't lead somebody with that. Right?
No.
You got to give them real metrics. That's like the difference, because if that was the case, you just got to hire a bunch of homeless dudes.
Yeah.
Which you
I know.
I don't want to hire a bunch of homeless dudes.
No.
So like
they have a soft spot, Mom.
It's the homeless. JVR feeding the homeless. Right? So you got to give them real numbers, but what they got to realize is to be an expert at something, right? It's you got to put a ton of effort into it. That's why you can't be an expert at everything.
Right.
It's like we're shooting content right now, right? Our content, let's just be honest with ourselves. Our content is never going to be like, we're never going to be the top content guys in the world. This is not going to happen.
It could happen.
It's not going to happen. You know why it's not going to happen? Because how many hours you put into content this month? Just answer the question.
Just this.
Just this.
No.
Right?
I mean, if you're talking about, taking pictures, putting it on social media, I've put in a few hours. Yeah.
A few hours, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be great at anything if you just do it for a few hours, right? And so the guys that are the top people in creating content put in probably 12 hours a day.
Yeah, they have a cameraman following them everywhere.
They have a 10-man team that follow, but that's the reason that they have videos that do millions and millions over and over. And how the fuck are these guys so good on motherfucking YouTube? Well, these bitches spend all day prepping, shooting, editing, creating.
Yep.
And they do it every day. And then we pop in here and fucking pop a podcast real quick and we're like, man,
why's
why
my
did that
video
go viral? Right?
That was some fire I was dropping.
I'm dropping all this game. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
It's because how much time are we really putting? Like, dude, let's be real, right? I showed up, I got 9 things written down, which is, that was my prep.
Yeah.
Right? You showed up with 0 things written down, and it's like, even my 9 things.
Never again. Next time I'm going to have 30 questions.
Did you see how I raised the bar for you? Right?
Yeah.
And now if someone else was even better at content, because maybe I'm just better at content than you, right?
Yeah.
And someone that's better than me would probably came in this bitch like with 4 pages of notes. Like, hey, here goes the intent, the purpose, this is what we're gonna get out of this. I got 10 short form videos I wanna get out of this, 6 long form, I'll lead the charge. And you're like, what? Who the fuck is this guy? It's like, because if you wanna get good at something, put all of your time into it. If you wanna be media, like, I expect decent results from my social media.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't expect to go viral every single time because I don't put the amount of time into it to go viral.
Yeah.
Now, if me and Sheik are spending all day together every day, I'm like, hey, brother, we gotta, me and you, we gotta find out how to get to a milli real quick. Because I put 60 hours into content this week.
Yeah.
Right? So I expect way better results then.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's the same approach everyone should take to anything that they want to be good at. Ask yourself and be real, how much time are you actually putting into this to be great at it?
Yeah.
Because don't be upset with the results you get from the work you didn't actually put in.
Yep. Facts.
You want a viral video? Put 40 hours into it. I bet you'd get one.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look for an easy way, to make money. They just think that, we make it look easy, so it should be just that easy. And they don't see all of the work that was put in behind the scenes and they look at people like us now, but they're like, they don't remember, they don't even know what it was like when, being homeless or driving the hoopty car,
Let me give you this. 4 years, right, is how long I've been really on this self-development journey. This month, we spun up a call center, created 100 leads, probably took 5 systems, a couple different softwares, 5 people, right? I'll take you back to when I first started. I didn't even, and we were buying all these phone numbers to dial locally. We're scrubbing data. We're working on an intricate dialer system. When I first started, I didn't even know any of this, right? So we were in Oklahoma. We drove to Texas and bought a burner phone in Texas so we can have a Texas area code. So that when we called people,
burner phone.
So that when we called people in Texas, they would pick up. Because I didn't know about a dialer. I didn't know about data. I didn't know anything. I went and bought a phone from a gas station with a 214 area code because I did not know any better. Now, I call people in fucking Austin, DFW, I got the area codes down, takes me it takes me 30 minutes to figure it out because I know better now.
Right.
Because I spent 10,000 hours figuring this shit the fuck out.
Yeah.
So that now it's easy. Mm-hmm. But before we were buying burner phones from gas stations to call people in Texas so they would answer.
Yeah.
That is the level that you start at and then get to.
Yep. You got to put in the work. There's no question about that.
I remember cutting that bitch out of the plastic. Putting the fucking chip in, bro. Like, so because I remember I had a 254. My boy moved from Jersey so that he would call from his phone. We didn't know. We called from our phones. I had 2 American dudes living in a 2-bedroom apartment, cold calling data from their cell phones. That was my first call center.
So yeah, my first.
Shout out Zach and Kev. Y'all the real ones. They got us here today, man.
I remember watching you make that call. I remember when I got that list and I was like, I'll call. I'll do it. I want to see what it's like sitting in the driver's seat. And I'm like, no answer. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. I got like halfway down the page. I'm like, I was like, no one answered my call. Like I called and just dialing the number. I can't imagine you guys just sitting there dialing numbers like, that's
Jay,
crazy.
We did it for months. We didn't know.
But that's drive, right?
We just didn't know any better.
We
didn't know about software. We didn't know about data.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, look, let's just start calling people and someone will pick up. We were literally cold calling.
Yeah.
And probably not even good data. I don't remember what the data was the same way. I remember having that trap phone, but it was not good. I remember I'll come home on my break and get to it myself with them. It was ugly.
Yeah.
It was very ugly. Yeah.
How did you guys, so where were you guys pulling the data from?
Dude, I think we were using a provider called Batch at the time.
And they were just giving you a list of...
Yeah, we would just pull high equity absentee owner list. It was probably 10, we had a code, so it was 10 cents a record. It was expensive too.
Really?
Yeah, and then we were just calling it from our cell phones.
I mean, even the stuff we pull now is cheaper than that.
Oh yeah, dude, you can get data if you know where to go, and if you have connects, because we've been doing this for fucking 4 years,
right.
and how to get it for a penny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's but before you don't know nobody, you're just I don't know. The dude on YouTube said to use Batch. He gave me a code, and he said if I use this code, I get 2 cents off because it was 12 cents. So if I just type in TTP and hit enter, I get 10 cents. And this dude's hooking it up.
Yeah.
Little I know of affiliate marketing, I don't know, right? And then so boom, I'm getting records for 10 cents.
Yeah.
And I'm just calling it off my cell phone, bro. That's how we got started in phone sales.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So coming from the Army, is that you have a really good eye, or maybe just both of y'all together, but y'all have a good eye for what's next, and you're okay, because when we talked about it, you're we're gonna get these leads, and then we're gonna need this, and then this is gonna happen, and then we're gonna need that, and then this is, and you have.
This is what I learned from this guy.
So you guys,
blind spots, gaps, glass ceilings. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, just because I just started too, like you, right? I didn't know CMO, CFO. I didn't even know what those acronyms meant or what they did. I was just you do this and I'll do this. And then, as we, I think it's taken a while for us to mature, where we're okay, you're the CFO and you're the CEO and you're the CMO and you're the COO. And these are these roles. So I guess I always just, I just wonder about y'all's expertise. How did you learn all that? Is that from Citibank, where you knew which building block goes next and what's the next thing you need here and all of that stuff? We were building those maps in the office. You're okay, and then this happens, and then this, and then all of these circuits. I'm how did you learn all of this?
How I know this information is because I've done it for over a decade, and I have a tremendous opportunity to see from a small startup that Amazon was to be able to build his infrastructure and the inbound operations to grow 33% quarter over quarter. My wife is a CPA that helps mid-sized companies, anybody that's doing between 100 million and 10 million to 100 million. So I've been able to see the enterprise side at Citibank, all the C-level executives, mid-level management, and your workforce. That's doing over 100 million. I think at one point we were doing $1 trillion a day during Black Friday back in 2021. So $1 trillion a day is massive for an enterprise. It's a 200-year-old institution. I've been able to see that. My wife is a CPA for two of the big four accounting firms, Ernst & Young and PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC. So our conversations are, hey, how does this business look? Like, what does a mid-sized company that's doing between 10 million and 100 million look like? Having that insider information. And now when I left Citibank as a vice president and started a small business from 0 to 2 million, like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Well, how do you go from scratch, 0? When was our day one hire?
September 5th.
September 5th. And now we're at 20 people. How does that look like to scale up and ramp it up within 6 months and fully be able to have a leadership team, a management team, and your workforce, and you're completely detached so that your business is now the asset. You do not have to be there if you don't want to.
100%.
So the answer to your question is having the insider information from an enterprise, a mid-level company, and a small business.
Where did you learn the little map thing we were building?
Oh,
Six
bro,
Sigma.
yes.
Six Sigma.
Six Sigma.
Yeah, I learned from Six Sigma. So I
Spell it.
SIX and then Sigma, SIGMA, Six Sigma, which means you make 6 errors out of every million. How do you get to that level of perfection? Like, perfection is almost unattainable, but you can get to a Six Sigma level of errors.
So Six Sigma means perfection?
It means 6 errors out of every million.
What is, I don't even know what that means.
So like any process.
Crouching tiger, hidden dragon. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, so it means that when you have a process from A to Z, you run that process 1 million times. You can only make 6 errors. Go. How do you do that?
Okay.
And so you build out process maps, you build out different infrastructure. You see things from a very objective and data-driven approach to improve that process.
Gotcha.
You get it almost perfect. You can get it to that Six Sigma level.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like McDonald's. You can
It's
make
exactly,
that burger over and over and over again in thousands of different locations, but the 6 errors are probably the mustard, ketchup, and pickle.
It's the fucking wrapping.
Like, it's just, you can wrap it wrong. Like, when
Two pickles instead of 3 pickles.
Yeah.
Like, that's an error.
Right.
It should be 3 pickles at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A actually hires some of the most amount of Six Sigma people.
Gotcha.
That's why they're always so good. Like, how is it they almost get it perfect every single time?
Yeah.
Right? The same people, they say the exact same script, and it's just like...
Yeah. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah.
They never miss a beat. I always get my sauces. They never. That's pretty
Always
incredible.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
So
Talk 2 pizza team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So one thing I learned from Amazon whenever Jeff was building his team, it's like, how do you build your team so quickly but it doesn't break? So he made a rule called the 2 pizza team. Your team needs to be an elite squadron, and it cannot be more than what can be fed with 2 pizzas. And that's
is that like so in my terms, right? Is that like a sales team? Is that a executive team? Is that a marketing team? Or is
everywhere.
Any team.
To each individual department, right? So you're talking like a sales team should be capped at 2 pizzas, right? So then what do you make another sales team?
Yep, correct.
Gotcha.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah. Good.
One person can only manage effectively about, it could be from 4 to 8 people.
I can smash a whole pizza. I'm just saying.
The concept.
Me and 2 other motherfuckers, let's roll.
2 of America's most wanted at the same motherfucking place at the same motherfucking time, eating 2 pizzas. I can eat a whole pizza too. Zeus. That's funny. Yeah. So, but a lot of that is a lot of the insight that we have is from those 3 levels of business.
Yeah.
That 6 Sigma, and so like I've been able to really use them as a tool to like extract, like put this here, put that there, like, and then say and vice versa. I'm just like, he's always like, let it flow. What's on your mind? I'm like, problem, issue, and he's like, okay, this one's not important. This is how you solve this one. But like, you have to have that sounding board. Otherwise, like, you just sit with your own thoughts at your house with a fucking beer, and you're like, God damn it, God damn it, Bobby, I gotta fix all this shit. It's like, talk about some of the exercises we do with our leadership team. To do process improvement and problem solve.
Absolutely. So first, you have to identify the problem. How do you identify the problem? Is use a very powerful tool called a fishbone, right? We can go into it later, but it's pretty much you define the problem and then you create the skeleton, right? Is it a people problem? Is it a process problem? Is it a technology problem? Is it a blah, 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 blah? You define it and you break it down and ask yourself why. 5 times. Why is that a problem? Why until you get to the root of it. So once you identify that root of the problem, then you attack it militantly.
Yeah.
So that's one of the tools. Another thing is postmortems, right? A lot of times we're like, why is it that this happened? Like, why did this lead die? Why did this appointment why did it get canceled?
Oh, that's
right?
my realm
So
all the time.
Then we dissect it, right? We find this onion of a problem and we peel the layer. Why? Until we get to the core of it. So postmortems, fishbone analysis, and many other tools in Six.
My favorite one is elevate and delegate.
Okay.
Yeah, talk about that one.
Absolutely. So elevate and delegate. I love operations, but another person might absolutely hate and despise and zaps their energy.
Me and you.
Right. So you define what do you put it in a quadrants, right? What are you great at and love doing? What are you good at and don't like doing? I forgot what the exact ones, but you pretty much quadrant.
What are you
them
not
out.
good at and you love doing?
Yeah.
Love doing, good at, like doing, great at, hate doing, bad at, hate doing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So
And then you just put all your responsibilities into those 4 buckets.
Right.